There are so many reasons why you might want to get in the best shape of your life and achieve your dream physique, but something that I didn't expect was the impact that me achieving my dream physique would have on other people and how they would actually treat me. What I realized was, as I was getting into shape, as I was showing up on the days that I scheduled and had a plan around like when I would train and how I would train, I was slowly but surely changing my belief system about myself. I suddenly started to see myself as a person that did actually do the hard work. I was starting to see myself as someone that showed up even though they felt tired, even though they were bored, even though they felt unmotivated, even though life happens, it happens regardless. And I still showed up and I still showed and proved to myself the kind of man that I am and the man that I've become. And so if you're someone that at the moment is going through a period of where you don't really treat yourself with that kind of respect, where you will always do the things that you say that you're going to do, then my question to you is, what is your experience with how people might treat you? Because for me, nobody ever took me serious until I started to actually take myself serious enough, until I broke out of that negative cycle of constantly putting things off, of constantly procrastinating and taking things without any type of seriousness, because I just started to respect myself enough to actually follow through on the things that I wanted to do. You see, the world is just like a mirror, and people seem to reflect what it is that you have inside of you. And so before people saw my physique, people would see the way that I treat myself in terms of like how I carry myself, in terms of how I might walk into a room, in terms of how I might speak to someone. I might shy out of a difficult conversation, but then all of a sudden, as I've, grown and worked on myself, I'm now not afraid to say those things. I'm now not afraid to engage in scenarios where I need to actually step up and, maybe defend someone. It's about having that transformation with yourself, and then all of a sudden, when other people see that transformation, they're gonna treat you differently. So the purpose of this video isn't to be like, dude, like get in shape because girls are going to treat you differently. Like, yeah, of course they're going to treat you differently, but that's not the point. Like, the point of this video is to really get the point across to you guys that when you have this physical transformation where you've gone from being overweight, being a person that is lazy, that doesn't take care of themselves, that never takes themselves seriously, that has never truly built anything for themselves consistently, then going to a complete 180 and just going all in on your own growth, the type of man that you transform into is unrecognizable from the version of yourself that you were before. Getting in shape and getting into the best shape that you can actually achieve is more than just this vanity thing where you're just getting in shape for other people's approval. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're lonely right now, if you truly want the attention of other people, you will probably never achieve the kind of attention that you want, because other people need to first see it in you. You need to give it to yourself before they can actually give it to you. So the way that I started to do this was I started to think about how the best version of me is gonna have their life. How would the best version of me show up for themselves in terms of their routines, in terms of their habits, in terms of how they train, in terms of how they eat, all of those things. And then what I did was I was like, all right, well, let's break down nutrition. Like, how does this guy eat? What I do is I figure out, say, for example, if I'm at a restaurant, there is a menu. And on that menu, say there's a list of 10 items. I'm gonna null like 8 of them. And there's only 2 options on that list. And once I've already cancelled these 8, that basically means that it makes my decision-making process a hell of a lot easier. Because the best version of me is obviously gonna be eating to actually fuel his body, to give him that energy that he needs, to give him the recovery that he needs to be able to perform at his best, right? And so that's just one area, that's just the nutrition part. But it bleeds into everything, really. Because here's the thing, you don't actually need validation from other people, you just need standards. Everyone close to me knows that when I say that I'm gonna do something, I do it 100% of the time. If I'm gonna wake up at a certain time, I wake up at that time, because that's my standard, right? So if I say that I'm going to work out on a certain day, I will work out on that day, regardless of whether I feel tired, regardless of whether I feel like I should rest or whether I feel any type of way. Like, I will do it. Why? Because that is my standard. That is what I've set for myself. People just started treating me differently, not because I looked jacked, but because I carried myself differently. And it's even in the small things, like the way that I would carry myself in a conversation with someone who I've just met. When you're insecure, when you don't feel confident in yourself, that reflects. And so people will make comments towards you that just reflect back your insecurity. And if you're confident in yourself, then the only things that you will ever hear from people are, hey man, like, you look great. It's because these people are just reflecting back to you what you've achieved. And it's funny because with fitness, you literally break yourself down and people will only see it months or maybe years later. So with every other aspect of your life, you probably take an action and then you quickly see the result of that action that you took. But with fitness specifically, you literally take so many actions, you're putting yourself through so much pain, so much struggle, you're sacrificing drinks and going out and doing certain things and eating certain clean foods, and you're doing all of these things, but meanwhile, because you're not getting that feedback, you're giving yourself, you're sacrificing, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, this guy's treating me different. Oh, this guy is actually paying me respect. Like, when I speak, people want to listen, right? And it's because when you sacrifice in life, in anything, even outside of fitness, you will always receive a reward. It doesn't matter what it is, but you will always receive a reward from the sacrifices that you make, because nothing, like, there is no action that you can take without an equal and opposite reaction. And certain things that you do have to catch up over time. So if it is that you're training, let's say 3-4 times a week, there are going to be weeks that go on without you really seeing much difference or a result. But eventually it catches up and there's actually exponential growth. And that's because you've just put in the reps to basically let's say, cushion the negative reps that you might have been doing, whether it be, staying up, drinking, partying, just not focusing on your health at all, right? It takes time for you to catch up, let's say, but then once you've caught up, you're exploding in growth, right? Compared to, let's say you do a week and then you take a month off and then you go for 2 weeks and then you take another month off. If we were to average that out, you wouldn't actually have much growth, because at the end of the day, your average of what you do on a consistent basis is going to determine where you end up, right? So if you actually want to have a certain life and a certain lifestyle, your average of the things that you engage in on a daily basis, the actions that you take on a daily basis, those things, the average of those things is going to explain your life, regardless. Doesn't matter whether you try to, have a month of monk mode. Doesn't matter what it is that you try to do. It is what you're doing on a consistent basis, averaged out over a period of time. That's why, like, you could have a period of 3 months of growth, then you could have a period of, let's say, fun, but then if you come back and you have another period of 3 months of consistent growth, your average is going to dictate where you end up. That's it. That's the end of this video, guys. If you liked this video, drop it a like. And also, you might be someone that, has been struggling with your fitness for a while, whether it be you've been training hard and you've been eating right, but you just don't really see the kind of progress that you want to see on your physique, then there is a link in the top of this description on this video that's going to take you to a booking page where you can basically just book in a call with me, and we're going to get a strategy in place for you and basically, help you out. But, No pressure. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it is, and it is something that you're interested in, then just click the top link in the description. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.